9. Ignition sequence start.
Hope everyone had a great weekend, long weekend. This is Loretta Sternowski with Got Spouse Need House. And today we have a bloomin' fun topic. We're talking about flowers. And our guest today is Martha Aaron from Sedona. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah. So exciting. We actually have not had a florist on the show before, so I have a lot of questions for you, and maybe some people out there, if you guys are watching it on YouTube or Facebook, you're welcome to ask questions while we are live, and we'll also send out her information afterwards if you have additional questions.
Please
so
do.
First of all, tell us about yourself and how the heck you got into this beautiful business.
Sure. Well, I'm originally from Texas, and I was blessed to get a floral design class in high school. And I did a full 360. I thought I was going to be the meteorologist and chase tornadoes. And then I was like, I love flowers. And so I just dove in from that day in high school and did it. I worked at a couple of local flower shops and just got my business degree, certified in floral design, and I've just been doing it ever since. I love it.
Wow. And so tell us a little bit about your business. You're based in Sedona, correct?
I am, yes. So I moved to Sedona in 2015. I purchased Mountain High Flowers in 2017. We're a full-service florist here serving the entire Verde Valley. We go all the way out to like Camp Verde and Cottonwood and servicing Sedona. So we create flowers for birthdays and anniversaries for all the local hotels, and then, of course, all the beautiful destination weddings that come here in Sedona.
And so when you talk about destination weddings, is that people from other parts of Arizona, or are they coming from all over the world? And what percentage of your weddings are destination?
Well, both. From all over Arizona to the country to I have international brides. I had a couple from Austria just a few months ago. It's really kind of cool. I would say destination, probably like 90 to 95%. There's not a whole lot of locals. I mean, we do have some locals actually in the Verde Valley in Sedona who are getting married, but a lot of them are coming up from the valley and Phoenix area or around the state or flying in from other states. Other states probably maybe 60, 70%. There's a lot.
And how do they find you? Or is it a referral?
I would say
you do a lot of social media.
A combination. We work with all the local venues and hotels and just wedding sites. We work with a lot of local planners and photographers who do refer us. Then I will say a few years back, our Instagram just kind of took off, and people find us via Instagram and see our work, and our work kind of speaks for itself, I would say. And we have brides contact us that way as well.
Yeah, I'm sure. And what about TikTok? Are you involved in that platform?
I'm actually not on TikTok. I probably should be, but it's hard enough sometimes just to stay on top of Facebook and Instagram. And I find a lot of the younger brides who are scrolling are on Instagram. That's where we get a lot, where we can kind of feature our wedding work and where we see them a lot.
Okay, let's get down to the nitty-gritty, talk about how couples, when they get engaged, what is your advice for like the first step for them as far as the florals side of things go? What should
Absolutely. So we normally say like reach out to us about 6 months to a year out. Once you know your venue and your color palette, or like kind of what your plan is, your overall vision for your wedding, that's when we say reach out to your florist. You're going to kind of want to lock in a few of those details before coming and chatting with us. That does help us kind of guide in the right direction. Then you just reach out. Our website has, most florists' website and our website has a link that you can enter all your information, and then we'll contact you, or we get DMs on Instagram all the time, and that just starts the conversation. And then from there, we send out a little welcome packet with a little questionnaire, and then we'll do a consultation, typically a Zoom call. Like that.
Okay, so when you talk about the color palette, so their brides are picking, do they pick their flowers and then their dresses, or do they pick their dresses first? How does it go? Because sometimes, people go,
Yeah.
oh, I want to have yellow roses on my wedding or whatever.
Absolutely. So a lot of the time, they're probably like, sometimes they'll have their bridesmaids dresses picked out, and if you don't by that time, it's okay. It's more like, I just want to know the overall direction you want to go in as a bride. Like, are we thinking pinks and blushes and reds, or greens, or just like a general color palette direction? You don't have to have all the specifics picked out before you come talk to us, but some sort of direction is good.
So do you match the flower to the sort of the
I would say,
how the wedding is? Like if it's a country wedding, is there a
right.
flower that matches that, or?
Yeah, so I would say one of the most common misconceptions is this is the shade of blue that my bridesmaid's dress is. I want that shade of blue flower. Or like, I'm doing navy, so I need to have navy flowers. I'm definitely like, don't go matchy matchy. Because in photos, you want to have that depth of color. So it's like having a range of colors. Like if we're going to have navy, bringing in some softer blues is beautiful. And then that will pop off the navy dresses for photos and look gorgeous. So it's like playing with different like color tonal ranges is more what I recommend. And then when you're saying like country style, I wouldn't necessarily say that there's like a specific flower you have to have for that, but there's an overall like feeling or vibe that we're going to create. That's where, like, as my expertise would come in and say, if you want a rustic country vibe, maybe we go a little bit more vegetative, a little bit more natural, organic feeling. Or if you're very sleek and want some modern or like stronger lines, then maybe we should use flowers that represent that, or have that feeling for them.
Okay, it's as far as like what people are choosing these days. What is the trend for flowers at the weddings?
Well, there's right now there's two different types, right? There's I'm seeing a lot of like bold and fun color palettes, or like unique color combinations, bright citrus tones, and even mixing in like fresh fruit with that, like lemons and limes with the bright citrus flowers is really fun. Then we're also seeing very like minimalist modern take on clean lines, a lot of white on white, or single flower bouquets, just like all one, like all roses or all ranunculus, that sort of thing, has been really popular, as well as bud vases are coming back, but in a more modern kind of take, or whimsical take, where it's just like one or two flowers, not like full arrangements, have been real popular too lately.
Okay, so the bride, what the brides are choosing as opposed to what bridesmaids are choosing, are they still, she has a bouquet of white, then they all have white, or how does that? Are they do bridesmaids, or they still have bouquets?
Bridesmaids definitely still have bouquets.
Okay.
I would say I did a fun wedding this past weekend where the bride was all mixed flowers, white on white, very clean. And then each of her bridesmaids, like I was talking about, had single flower bouquets. So like the bride had roses and lisianthus and ranunculus in her bouquet, and then each bridesmaid had just roses or just ranunculus or just lisianthus. That's been a really common and fun trend I've been seeing lately. But then we also have that based on color as well. I have a wedding coming up where the bride is all colorful, and then her bridesmaids have a single color flower.
Oh,
and that's really fun because they do that a lot with their dresses too lately. I'm sure you or your audience have seen that, like, bridesmaids have been in like single tones that all like almost like a like bringing the whole color palette to life in their dresses, which is really kind of fun too.
That's how my mom's wedding was. Each
Oh, yeah?
bridesmaid was a different dress, like satin, whatever.
Yeah.
And then her wedding cake was, each layer of cake was that
Oh,
same
that's
different
fun.
color.
I love that. I love playing with color. Color is one of those things that just like brings an event to life, and flowers can absolutely help do that.
Where do you get your flowers from?
Well, we source flowers. Well, I source them locally. We actually work with the Arizona Flower Collective, which is a collective of flower farmers throughout the entire state of Arizona that's coming together to send locally bloomed flowers to local florists. But then I also use the traditional flower markets as well, where our roses come from Ecuador and Colombia, and I'll get flowers from the Dutch market as well, and then other U.S. grown flowers like California and Oregon. So all over the world, truly.
That's great. That's
Yeah,
great.
but we are.
So can you, not even to do with weddings, but if someone gets flowers for an occasion, what is the best way to preserve their freshness as a florist?
Sure. Well, we're all about proper care and handling of our product. And so every step of the way, we're paying close attention to our care and handling and making sure that like there's flower food in our waters, and that we're using hydration sprays and sealing sprays when necessary to help keep our flowers fresh when they walk out the door for weddings and events, and even our retail clients. But then we deliver all of our bridal bouquets like in vases with water to help them stay fresh. In Arizona, the heat is so intense that we always recommend our brides, if you're not using it for photos, keep that bouquet in water, and that will have flower food. And then after the fact, like the next day, if they can recut the stems and keep it in water, then their bouquets will last. But then we don't do actual like drying or preservation like that, but we do have a few companies that we talk to down in the Phoenix area that can do that for brides.
Do most
too.
brides want to keep their bouquet kind of preserved?
I would say so, yeah. And there's like so many fun things you can do with drying of flowers now, and like keeping them in acrylics or in a shadow box, just keeping that memento, combining it with a photo of that day and having it. So there's lots of fun.
Which flowers last the longest? Like in a vase or whatever.
Yeah, sure. Well, your good old carnation lasts a really long time, and I feel like it doesn't get enough credit because what they've done in the floral industry, carnations come in such beautiful bitonal colors now. They're really unique and fun. But also like chrysanthemums, ostromeria, ranunculus, surprisingly, are very hardy blooms.
And what's kind of the most unique bouquet that you've ever put together for someone?
Oh, the most unique. Well, I did have a bride ask for crystals in her bouquet, and she wanted like colorful pampas grass, and they have these really cool anthuriums now that an anthurium is a type of tropical flower where you can paint it with iridescent mica paints and really play with like fun colors. It's almost like bringing a painting into your bouquet. And so we had these iridescent mica toned anthuriums with colorful grasses and crystals. It was definitely different, but it was really fun.
And where was she from?
Oh goodness, out of state for sure. I don't remember exactly where, but she was gonna hike up and go take some pictures on the Red Rocks.
Oh, great. Yeah. So when someone chooses to get married, like in a hall as opposed to, does the venue have any effect on your business as far as what you need to do?
Of course, yeah. I mean, certain venues will have certain restrictions of what they allow and don't allow, and so I have to take that into consideration. Like pampas grass has been a very popular trend over the last few years, but it's very messy, and I have a venue here in town who doesn't allow it. And so I just have to let my couple know that and
Why would they not allow it?
Because it's very messy. It just will get everywhere. It has little flutteries. It can almost make it look like it's snowing if it's really windy. So we'll just use like artificial, or we'll use other types of dried grasses, or suggest other things to help get the look that they're wanting, but work around that venue. But other places, most venues are really good blank canvases for us to work with. But if somebody, I do a lot of Airbnb designs for people who come out to Sedona and just rent like a large Airbnb, and then we consider like where on the property is it going to be, what are the different elements around, does it have some decor that we need to move or cover up, that sort of thing. We take into consideration.
And what would you say to couples if they're not sure how does this revolve around a budget for flowers? Is there any kind of
Yeah, so that's a part of our first questionnaire that we send out, is like, I want to know if you do have a budget, let's talk about that up front. And so when I give out a proposal, and I think a lot of florists do this as well, is everything is like itemized, and if I can, I'll give you like a standard, deluxe, or premium price point, so you can decide where you want to scale up or scale down. It's also on me to give you options where if you are willing to incorporate more greenery or more foliage into the design, or have it be a little bit more airy versus really compact and full, as well as letting you, my expertise, I try to guide brides to say, okay, the most premium bloom should be in your personal flowers, in your flowers to wear, in the flowers you hold, and the flowers guests are going to touch. So like if you love dahlias, let's put them in your bridal bouquet and possibly in your centerpiece. However, it doesn't need to be in the big arch that's above you at the ceremony, because nobody's going to get up there and touch dahlias. But chrysanthemums and disbudmums have a very similar look and texture to them, and they're about half to a quarter of the cost of a dahlia. And so that's where we can like cut budgets. So that's where, as like a professional, knowing my industry, I'm here to guide our couples and helping them be realistic with their budgets and say, like, these are certain flowers that we can use in this location versus here, and this is why.
That makes a lot of sense. And you also do more than just weddings, correct?
Oh yeah, we do large corporate events. I just did a beautiful celebration of life a few weeks ago for a woman out at a local vineyard. And then, like I said, we also do full retail, so birthdays, anniversaries, get wells, all of that.
Is there like when people are allergic to certain things, is there flowers that are like non-allergenic?
I wouldn't say that there's non-allergenic flowers, but there are flowers that are very low or have no pollen, low fragrant flowers that most people can have in their homes. But we do try to ask and stay away from high fragrant, high pollen flowers for people like
We're
that.
going to put your contact information on the re-recording on the Facebook posts and everything. But if you could tell everyone where you are located and the best way to get a hold of you.
Sure. We are Mountain High Flowers. We are located in West Sedona off of the main strip of 89A. You can find us online at mountainhighflowers.com, and you can see all of our wedding work on Instagram at Sedona Florist, and then our retail side on Instagram and Facebook is at Sedona Mountain High Flowers.
That sounds great. Well, this was super informative. Makes me want to go get flowers.
Absolutely, you should. It's self-care.
Right. And you know what? I whenever I go to Scottsdale and I'm working there, first thing I do is I go to the store and buy myself some flowers, even though I have a boyfriend. But I just love having flowers on the table all the time.
Right. No, studies have proven flowers and plants really do lift your mood. Just having them in your space.
And they smell nice and they look nice and they just make you feel good. You don't have to wait for a guy to buy them for you, like Miley Cyrus says.
I was just about to say that. You can buy yourself flowers.
And you should.
You should.
So once again, to the listeners out there, Got Spouse Need House is a team of realtors. We specialize in working with newlywed and engaged couples. And the benefit to working with our team is that when you are ready to do a real estate transaction, whether it's a buy or sell, you actually get the equivalent of 10% of the realtor's commission as a credit on closing. And we know the wedding is your first priority, and that's a hefty price tag most times. So this is a way of us saying thank you for doing business with our team. And of course, we want to ensure that you deal with the people that we deal with, such as Martha. We only like to surround ourselves with high quality, educated people with great customer service. So I definitely think that you're one of those in our wheelhouse that we're going to keep close to our hearts and recommend to our couples.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to have been invited in here today and to talk with you and your
thank
couples.
You so much.
You.
When I'm in Sedona, maybe I'll pop in and buy myself some flowers.
Absolutely. Please do.
Okay, have a great week, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.